Welcome to another deep dive into one of the most critical periods in Roman history. Today, we're focusing on the civil war of 88 to 87 BC, a brutal conflict that reshaped the power structures of the Roman Republic. Led by Lucius Cornelius Sulla, this conflict set the stage for the eventual fall of the Republic and the rise of autocratic rule. But to understand this war, we must first unravel the political and military landscape that led to one of Rome's bloodiest internal conflicts. To comprehend the significance of Sulla's civil war, we need to start with the broader political context. By the late 2nd century BC, the Roman Republic was a colossal military and economic power, but its political system was increasingly fractured. The Senate, traditionally the center of Roman authority, was often at odds with populist leaders, the populares, who sought power by appealing to the common people, or plebeians. On the other side were the optimates, the traditionalist elite who wanted to preserve senatorial control and the old republican order. Among these political figures, two names are crucial: Gaius Marius and Lucius Cornelius Sulla. Marius, a military reformer and populist, had risen to prominence by altering the Roman army, making it a professional force, which in turn opened up opportunities for the lower classes to join the military. His rival, Sulla, was a patrician with deep senatorial ties, a man deeply committed to restoring the power of the Senate. The immediate cause of the civil war was the dispute over the command against Mithridates VI, the king of Pontus. Mithridates had launched a massive invasion of Rome's eastern provinces, slaughtering tens of thousands of Romans and allies in Asia Minor. In 88 BC, the Senate decided to grant the command against Mithridates to Sulla, a highly skilled general. However, a rival faction in Rome, led by Marius and his supporters, wanted the command for themselves. In a move that would change Roman history, the tribune Sulpicius Rufus, allied with Marius, passed a law transferring command to Marius. Sulla, enraged by this political maneuver, marched on Rome. It was the first time in Roman history that a Roman general led his army against the city itself. His forces entered Rome, and Marius, fearing for his life, fled the city. Sulla's march on Rome was not just a military action. It was a stark declaration of the breakdown of republican norms. Sulla, now in control, had Marius' supporters declared enemies of the state, executing many of them in brutal purges. The Senate, now firmly in Sulla's grasp, handed him an unprecedented command in the east, but Sulla's victory was temporary, as Marius would soon return with his own army. In 87 BC, Marius, along with his ally Lucius Cornelius Cinna, returned to Rome. They seized the city, and Sulla's supporters were again hunted down, with Marius returning to power as consul. But in a cruel twist of fate, Marius died shortly after taking office, leaving Cinna as the dominant figure. With Marius dead, Cinna assumed the leadership of the populares faction, but the Senate was still a force to be reckoned with. The civil war continued in a fractured state as Sulla, in the east, was still engaged in the Mithridatic War, leaving Rome in a precarious state. Cinna attempted to maintain power in Rome, but the Senate and Sulla's loyalists were not willing to let go of their influence. Back in the east, Sulla had decisively defeated Mithridates and returned to Rome in 83 BC, determined to reclaim what was his. His army, hardened from years of warfare, was ready for a final showdown. What followed was a brutal campaign in which Sulla's forces systematically crushed Cinna's supporters. The civil war had reached its final, decisive phase. By 82 BC, Sulla entered Rome again, this time as a conqueror. In a move that would forever alter the course of Roman history, Sulla took the extraordinary step of declaring himself dictator. Sulla's dictatorship was not one of temporary emergency powers, but a deliberate, long-term consolidation of his own power. Sulla immediately enacted sweeping reforms to restore the power of the Senate and curb the influence of the tribunes of the plebs. He also implemented proscriptions, a bloody purge in which thousands of his political enemies were executed or exiled. Sulla's reign is often considered one of the key turning points in the decline of the Republic, as it established the precedent of military men using force to seize power in Rome. Although Sulla resigned the dictatorship in 79 BC, his actions had left an indelible mark on Rome. The idea that one could use military force to take control of the Republic was now firmly established. The political instability that began with Sulla's march on Rome would set the stage for future conflicts, most notably the rise of Julius Caesar, Pompey, and Crassus, and ultimately the fall of the Republic, Sulla's civil war. Often overshadowed by the later wars of Julius Caesar and the fall of the Republic, remains one of the most profound moments in Roman history. His actions reshaped the political landscape of Rome and foreshadowed the autocratic rule that would follow. So, what can we learn from Sulla's civil war? It's a reminder that power, once wielded with violence and impunity, can permanently alter the fabric of a republic. Sulla's war set the stage for the eventual end of the Roman Republic and the rise of imperial power. The very nature of political struggle in Rome was forever changed, and the lessons of his reign echo through history, showing us the fragility of republican institutions in the face of military ambition. Thanks for watching this deep dive into one of the pivotal conflicts in Roman history. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, keep questioning history.